I wanted to read this because I feel like this is good for everybody's soul to read this. All right. We are in the day and age of just like slop acceptance. The thing is that all engineering, if I'm going to sum up engineering best that I can for software, is that for the last 2 decades, 3 decades, 4 decades, it's always been this balance of delivering what you need to deliver and also making it good enough. And for a long time, hardware was so bounded that you had to be so disciplined in your engineering that often good enough was also great. And then at some point, those things kind of changed, right? We no longer were bounded by hardware nearly as much, so people could make really shitty software, and that just worked, right? You could just make crappier and crappier software. Like the idea of Electron existing 20 years ago is laughably absurd. It's not even. It's like it can't even exist in this world, right? And so in our world, we're so gluttonous with the amount of RAM and CPU we have, we can have programs like Electron exist. Like that's just a reality that we live in. And so we can have a lot more slop. You can make a lot more bad decisions with software and still effectively be good enough. And so is that bad? Is that good? No, I'd actually, honestly, I would argue that's a great thing. That means we get a lot more software. I would just want it also to work, right? I just want it to actually work good. It's almost good practices not to care about resource usage. Yes, I want to still care. I think it'd be great if we cared, but we don't have to have the same constraints, which I think is great. Like that's a good universe to be in. I just wish we shepherded it a little bit more. And so then I saw this tweet this morning, and I thought, okay, I got to talk. We got to yap about this. We're gonna yap about it. Mind-boggling to me that I can make a thing faster. And there's always people that ask, but why? I assume he's talking about this, but effectively, Ghosty is now the indisputable world champion of I/O output, faster than everybody else at all sorts of different things, at playing Doom, what's it called? Unicode characters, playing ASCII text, having all sorts of stuff, can pump out text faster than anybody else by a wide margin. And so he's asked why, but why? Why does it matter? No one needs to have 150 megabytes of text in under in some small period of time. What is it? Yeah, in a half a second. Like that's just not, it's not practically needed, right? You don't actually ever need that to have happen. Well, here's his argument, which, by the way, the people arguing that are correct. No one needs this, right? This is not a need. But why? What kind of mentality is that? The pursuit of excellence does not need justification. Greatest phrase of all time. Get this one tattooed on you. Okay, tattoo that one on your brain. You need that, right? You need that. That is so good. This is good. Let's see. Also, I find in so many cases, we cannot know the impact of an improvement until we do it, which is also true. This is kind of like a mention almost of like Jevons paradox, whereas as a thing becomes more efficient, more people end up using it. Or, you can kind of abstract that, like, we don't even think of things we can do because the current world we live in is so incapable of doing that. So we just don't even have that as like a thought process of what's possible. For example, one I've talked about before, Ghosty's high I/O throughput has enabled terminal programs, emulator and TUI, fuzzing at a speed that is incomparably fast to prior solutions. This has resulted in upstream patches to resolve issues in popular projects like BTOP, TMUX, and more. Speed enabled that anecdotally example that lifted the tides of adjacent communities that don't rely on Ghosty technology at all. I didn't predict this. Make things better because they can be better and let the results naturally play out. It's good. That's really, really good. It's really, really good. We need more of that. This is what we need more of in our day and age. Like even if you're a little vibe coding script kiddie, which, hey, type 1 in the chat if you're just a vibe coder. You don't even know, right? You don't even know anything about coding. You're just a little vibe coder. Just press 1. I know I got a lot of you. The thing is I hope you guys, I hope all those little ones, there's a few ones in there. I hope you guys know that I don't hate you or look down on you, right? I don't look down on you. I think a lot of people, you have a impossibly difficult task that is much, much harder than mine was, which is to learn how to program in the day and age where there's a button that says generate. I never had that. How many people that just pressed 0 and said fuck that and all that? How many of you guys grew up and had to learn how to code in an environment like this? It's not that I had time to learn. I also didn't have the option to say no. You know what I mean? Like I only had to learn if I wished I could have done what I did, which is vastly different than having like a complete opposite, which is you don't like it's so crazy and so easy and so everything that it's just like it feels so much harder to learn. I started less than 2 years ago and I refuse to rely on AI. That's good. If you want to learn, I mean, it's really hard to learn in the day and age of AI. And so I just wanted to make sure I say those things that I think that there's a lot of these little vibe coders in here. And I think a lot of times people give them really bad raps or say really mean things to them. But I also think that it's extremely difficult. I think it's just extremely difficult for that group of people to become excellent. But the whole goal of us reading this is that I hope that you do become excellent. Like you should pursue excellence for the sake of excellence. Yes, there's loops out there and there's things that are going to improve. And I'm sure at some point in the future, an AI is going to be able to outprogram me in quality and in quantity, absolutely 100%. As of right now, they can certainly out quantity me, but they cannot out quality me within like a country mile. Okay, whatever. I don't care. That's not the argument we're having. But I think it's excellent that people try to take the time to make excellent stuff, right? Because I don't know when that day and age will land, and it may never land. It may land. I have no idea. Leave vibe coders alone. Anyways, I just wanted to say, I'm just trying to say something, positive for you guys.